as I mentioned before, this is it in terms of the lectures we had prepared. But join us for an interview with Kamil Kosz, media team lead at CD Projekt Red. Kamil will answer all your questions about the Cyberpunk 2077 game campaign. Night City Changes Everybody, which won a Silver Effie Award in Poland. I would also like to thank Effie Awards for Unpool making this happen. After the video, the guys will conduct the interview.
In 2077, what makes someone a criminal? Getting caught. In Night City, you can become anyone, anything, if your body can pay the price. So seize the day, then set it on fire.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Explore Night City on the all-new Xbox Series X.
Play Cyberpunk 2077. Drive supercars, battle corporations, and upgrade your body.
That's what I'm talking about!
Cyberpunk 2077. Buy your own copy today on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia. Peggy 18.
Seize the day, then set it on fire.
Hello everyone, my name is Phil Rumble. We met already today, and today with us for this very special talk is Kamil Kosz, media team lead in CD Projekt Red. And today we'll be talking about the hit campaign, the launch campaign of Cyberpunk 2077 that received an award during last year's Effie Awards. And also I would like to use this opportunity to talk about Effie Awards, but before that, Kamil, if you want to add anything on yourself before we move forward.
Hi, first of all, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about Cyberpunk and Effie.
Okay, great. So Effie became the partner of our conference, in connection with that, so we'll be covering this case study of a Cyberpunk 2077 campaign. But for all that don't know about Effie Awards, these are the most prestigious marketing awards for effectiveness, meaning for the campaigns that drive real business results. So today we'll be talking about how a gaming marketing campaign can lead to real results in terms of the business. Of course, when we talk about campaign for a video game, the main results are obviously sales, but I think that today will be cover a little more than just that. And the campaign we're talking about, as I mentioned, for Cyberpunk 2077, the campaign was titled Night City Changes Everyone. It received Silver Effie in relaunch category. And just one information before we move with the questions. For this year, it will be the first year when a dedicated gaming and esport category will be added to Effie Awards. It will be the third around the world. So the Polish Effie Awards are one of the most innovative one in terms of gaming, and of course we'll be looking forward to some more campaigns that will get the rewards for in this gaming and esport category. Okay, so Kamil, can you tell us about a little bit about the background of the campaign? Obviously, we all know the game. We know this was one of the biggest premieres, not only of the last year, but of the recent years. But if you could give us some background on the business side, what was the biggest challenge for the campaign, what was the media landscape, and so on. So if you can give us some information here.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thanks for the question. So, yeah, as you mentioned, like Cyberpunk 2077 was our first big campaign in few years since The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt in 2015. We faced two biggest challenges that we identified when we were talking with the entire team and thinking how we want to approach Cyberpunk 2077 launch campaign, both globally and in Poland specifically. So the biggest challenge was that Cyberpunk 2077 was the new IP, new brand, right? So we knew that gamers and fans of cyberpunk genre knew that our game is coming, but we also did some research and we learned that when it comes to wider audience, even among gamers, Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't that known at the time. I'm talking 2 years before the release of Cyberpunk 2077. So yes, that was the biggest challenge, to make sure that we can raise the awareness of our game and make sure that people can learn about it and enjoy the game, right, on the release. And the other thing was, and I think this is specifically connected with Poland, but with few other markets as well, is that the cyberpunk is not a popular genre when you think about science fiction, fantasy. Cyberpunk it's not popular everywhere, right? So this is something that we also wanted to tackle with our marketing campaign, that we can show people that cyberpunk is fun, right? And again, it was different in 2019 when we were thinking about it, comparing to now, when there's so much more movies and TV shows that are showing this, we can call it cyberpunkish genre, right? When with body modifications, with chips inside your head, and etc. Right? So, but back then it was something that we had in our minds, that this is something we can work with. So make cyberpunk fun. And we were discussing how we can make it.
Yeah, definitely. Cyberpunk probably wasn't a top genre in terms of the movies, the games, and so on. But right now we can say it is, because obviously during the last years and especially with the game, it got really developed. And this is always like this with the leaders. If you introduce something as the first, then the others will follow. But obviously, the leader is still the biggest beneficiary of such move. Okay, so what were the tangible objectives that you had in mind before launching the game? Obviously, there was probably sales figures that you wanted to meet, but if you could talk about maybe some other objectives, some other goals that you had for the campaign.
Yeah, sure. So I kind of mentioned them already. So we knew that the awareness is low because we conducted our research. So one of the goals for marketing and media, like the KPI for media, was to raise awareness of the brand. So not only we can promote the game, but it also sets us for the future, right? So we know that cyberpunk brand awareness will raise throughout the campaign. So awareness was the one of the goals. The other one was the sales. Here I can say that our benchmark was Witcher 3, right? So we wanted to make it bigger, and we wanted to make our release bigger than the last big release, right? But there also was one KPI or goal that wasn't that easy to measure, and it is connected to execution of the entire campaign was that our goal was to make Cyberpunk not only a game release, but also you can call it like a pop cultural event, right? Like we wanted it to be big, and we wanted to make Cyberpunk release celebration a bigger event that can set us and set the Cyberpunk game and genre for the upcoming years, right? So that was the goal that we planned against.
Okay. And we have already seen the material, so our audience knows like the creatives and the messaging. But can you tell us about like the concept for the campaign? How did you come up with it? Yeah.
Sure. So I mean, it's obviously, first of all, it's work of wider team, right? Like it's it is success of a big marketing team here at CD Projekt Red and our partners. We tried to, when we were thinking about Cyberpunk campaign, we were thinking about big ideas, but how we can put it in a simple way so it is easy, right? Like it's important to remember, like we always plan. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 was a global launch, and we designed our launch campaign globally, but then we had to adapt it to local markets like Poland, for example, right? And so we knew that setting big ideas, but that can be easy to adapt, it will be simple. So simple for everybody. So one of these big ideas, was we called it painted yellow. Whenever we were thinking about how we can play with the creative, and we saw, and everybody at the studio felt that the color identity for Cyberpunk 2077, the yellow color, is great. It's awesome. It's on my LinkedIn page, and I don't know if I ever change it, right? Because it's I really love it. But at the very same time, it was eye-catching. It was simple for us to talk with agencies or other creative partners. That the idea behind it was simple, right? We wanted to make the word yellow. And the other thing behind it was that, again, thinking, designing the campaign globally, but thinking locally, we could make people, the end users, feel like they are part of something big, right? Because it wouldn't matter whether you are in Warsaw or in someplace in United States. You could see the same asset, right? Like the same creative, the same color, and obviously with localized text, right? But I think that was important for us, and it was one of the key elements of our campaign of making Cyberpunk big cultural event, to make everybody feel that it is a global launch, right? And creative was one way to achieve that, right? And I know that you guys watch, everybody on the conference watch the video ads in English, because I thought that it will be easier for everybody to enjoy them. But another important thing was that we localized our creatives whenever the game was available in native language. For example, in Poland, we localized our game in Polish. We made sure that all of our advertisements and paid advertisements and communication is also in Polish, to make people feel that they can participate it whenever they know English or not. Like, we believe that people should be able to choose what language version they want to play with, right? So another thing of adaptation was that we invited Michał Żebrowski, who is a famous movie and theater actor here in Poland, who also voiced one of major characters, who is playing by Keanu Reeves in the game, right? Keanu Reeves is globally known actor. He modeled for Johnny Silverhand character in our game, but each region had its own Johnny Silverhand voice. And we wanted to make it coherent with paid advertisement. So people can feel or hear familiar voice when they launch the game. Yeah, so there were many different ideas that they seem and sound simple, but that I think it was the beauty of it, right? So we wanted to not become overwhelmed with this project, how big it was. I think it helped us with everything that we sneak some simple ideas behind that big execution.
Yeah, that sounds great, and definitely this is a very smart approach. Obviously, launching such a global game, because like trying to understand how big the premiere was, I saw some analysis that like almost half of the internet users around the world heard about Cyberpunk. So definitely it was as massive as possible. So you definitely had to take in consideration different markets, cultures, languages, and so on. And I think like the updating creatives, obviously, but this betting on the distinct, the branding was also probably a very good idea. I also can say that for me, Cyberpunk is about yellow, and whenever I see yellow, this is like the connection I make. But I think that like on the, say, creative level, this promise that Night City changes everyone, and the creatives also was very coherent with what the game offers, right? Because in Night City you can become anyone, you can proceed with the game however you like in the RPG style. You can feel like it's your character, right? So definitely this was like everything was very, very coherent here. So if we can talk right now maybe about the results. So what were the results and how they would compare with your previous game launches? Obviously Witcher 3 probably was the main benchmark, but maybe with other games that was launched this year on the same season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I cannot compare ourselves to other gaming titles released, like, because first of all, I don't really. I mean, I think we should focus on ourselves, like, and this is why we also benchmarked ourselves against Witcher 3 when it comes to sales. I cannot disclose too many details, but to just give you a context, because first of all, when we were thinking about whether we want to submit to EFI or not, we knew that for EFI you have to prove that you were efficient, right? Like marketing wise. So we were thinking about how it will be, how can we measure our effectiveness in marketing when we want to compare our sales in 2020 versus 2015, right? It's totally different environment, totally different market. So many things change in gaming since 2015. So we figured the best way to measure it would be not the total sales or number of units, but the increase between the pre-release and after-release period, right? Month to month. So, and that we think would give everybody internally the best feeling of how effective marketing campaign was, right? Because no matter how big the game is comparing to Witcher 3, marketing was similar, right? So what we learned when we compared the month-to-month results was that Cyberpunk 2077 results, the increase was almost 19 times bigger, right? Higher than comparing to the similar periods of Witcher 3. So we knew that we hit the spot when it comes to how we executed the campaign, and it's not only about paid media. As you said, the creative, the community and PR, everything combined helped us to manage and execute the campaign. And when we saw that and learned that, we were confident that we can apply and submit for EFI, because we knew that having everything in mind, and we had a strong creative, but also we had good measurable results that we can share with FE jury. We just felt confident that hey, we should send it and showcase our campaign. And when it comes to the other goals, also we tracked significant awareness, like significant increase. Excuse me. For example, I prepared this. It's not like I remember all of these numbers, but I checked, and when it comes to spontaneous awareness, the change between pre-release and after release, it was increase of 16 percentage points. So before we even started our marketing campaign, around 4% of the people we interviewed had spontaneous awareness of brand of Cyberpunk 2077 brand. And after we finished our marketing campaign and after the game released, that number was over 20%, right? So that also gave us the feeling that we did good work with how we handled the marketing campaign of the launch campaign for Cyberpunk 2077.
That's pretty impressive, and definitely was also, I think this point of view was shared by the jury because it was awarded Silver Effie, and it's very difficult to get any award at Effie, so Silver is a great achievement. So congratulations for that. But just last one question to maybe share your point of view on what you think is a recipe to drive the effectiveness and be eligible for getting an FE award in terms of the gaming campaigns?
I think my answer would be to know your audience, right? Like especially when we are talking about gaming, and I see on the market that and probably most of, like many of you who are listening to us are thinking about including gaming into your campaigns, is that gaming is not only AAA gaming, right? There's a lot of different. I mean, my mom is a gamer, right? She's the most engaged puzzle games gamer I know, right? But it doesn't mean that she will respond to every gaming campaign on the market, right? So I think when marketers and agencies are thinking about how to engage their customers with gaming, they should be confident and aware of who they are talking to and what gaming aspects are best to utilize in the campaign. And then if they figure this out and have a decent plan, they can go to FE and apply, because this is what FE jury is looking for. I mean, a solid plan, good execution, and then it only can end with the good results, which is the base for FE submission.
Yes, and if I can add to it, what you also need to prove is the ability to attribute the results to the techniques and the strategy, because obviously this is tricky sometimes to distillate this. But yes, thank you very much for this insightful talk. It was great to know the details of one of the biggest game launches of last year's. And again, congratulations on the FE award, and to all of our audience. Thank you very much for these 2 whole days. Thanks for joining us. We'll be looking forward to meet you again during the next edition. And right now, I would like to wish you a very good evening and see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Well, this is it for the 3rd edition of Gaming Marketing Days. Over the last